Hi guys, and welcome all to my channel. In today's video we're going to be painting this beautiful reference I have from Pinterest, and this one is a bunch of roses in a glass vase, in a round vase. I really love this one a lot and I've been wanting to paint this for a very long time, and today here I'm going to be showing you how I painted this. And for that, the paper I'm using today is from a brand called Bhavana, and this one is 100% cotton paper. I love cotton paper because it gives those beautiful bleeds, and this one is also cold pressed, so I really love this one a lot, guys. I'm going to start by first drawing a rough sketch, and my sketch actually I don't really particularly sketch out details, but I just like to kind of draw the shape, the basic shape of the flowers and where exactly I want to place them. So of course I don't follow the reference exactly as it is. I only take inspiration from it, and as an artist I feel that I have all the liberty to make my own changes, and I just decide decide on the composition. Sometimes I change a few things here and there, and just kind of sketching the flowers here, and just want to place exactly where I would like my flowers to be. Of course, then I'm starting off with my first color here, which is the bright opera pink, and I'm just kind of first I wet the flower with plain water uh, with a larger brush, and then once the I just only wet the area where I'm going to be painting. I didn't wet the whole painting at once. I just feel that sometimes I like to paint in parts, and which is why I follow this technique. So I only wet the area which I'm going to be painting. So in this case I'm starting with the flowers first. So because I like to paint wet and wet here, because when I paint wet and wet it gives me a beautiful soft feel, and I want the colors to kind of bleed out beautifully. So here I'm painting wet on wet, and I'm painting in parts. Next up is now I'm establishing the darker areas. So this one is again, I just decide on whichever area the shadows would be falling and wherever I want my depths to be. So I'm using a slightly darker shade here. I'm using permanent rose, sorry, and just going over with my number 8 brush, and I'm just adding some depth here to the flowers. So once I'm done with the flowers here and I'm happy with how they're looking, next up is I started painting the lighter filler flowers. So in this case I had a few, I think there were some white color rose buds, or rose or some other flowers, I'm not sure, but they were white in color, and I just thought adding a lighter filler flower would be a better option, because I didn't want the gentleness of the roses to go away. So I'm using a lighter color, a white flower as a filler flower over here. Next up is I'm starting to add the leaves and other elements to the arrangement, but I want to make sure that the color of the leaves don't contrast a lot with the soft roses. So I wanted to keep the color of the leaves very in a very cooler tone, and I think because the roses were a beautiful pink shade and I didn't want too much yellow or warmer leaves, I wanted to kind of blend in well with the flowers. So I'm using, even though I am adding a few contrast here and there, but I'm making sure that my leaves are also a very soft, in a more softer, gentle style. Also wanted to let you know, guys, that this video has been sped up, and this is not the actual speed. The whole painting took me about a little more than 2 hours to paint, so I have kind of skipped a few parts where I have paused and I have given it a nice visual thought. I have taken a step back and I have looked at the whole composition and kind of looked at the whole picture together, and have taken a few pauses to kind of decide the whole thing. So I highly recommend you doing that, guys. So whenever you're painting any composition, you need to take breaks in between, step back and look at the bigger picture, and then decide. I think intuitively you kind of get an idea where exactly you want to place what, and that it gives a very beautiful effect towards the end. So the greens that I have used here are mostly Van Dyke green, Perylene green, chromium oxide, and I think a little bit of olive green as well. The olive green is slightly lesser, but mostly I've used Van Dyke and Perylene green. If you don't have Van Dyke green, then you can mix some purple to your sap green, and also mix a little bit of ultramarine blue. I think that should give you a nice muted green shade. So here I'm painting the glass vase, and for the vase I'm using a very diluted form of sepia and a little bit of ultramarine blue mixed together. And the glass is actually very easy to paint in watercolors, even though it looks like a difficult one, but trust me, guys, it's not. It's super easy to paint glass. You just need to establish the contrast, the areas where there is a little bit of color, and you need to leave the other areas blank, and kind of give a nice blend a few colors inside, so that it gives a illusion of leaves inside the vase. And in the same way, that's how you can paint a glass vase in watercolors. Lastly, I'm adding in a few details because I love my details. I feel that the moment you put a few details here and there, it just brings the whole thing together, and kind of even though it looks very effortless, but at the same time, it looks like you've taken a lot of effort to paint it, but it's actually a very effortless way. You just need those tiny, smaller elements here and there, and it's going to bring everything together. So there you guys, here's the finished painting, and I hope you like it. If you did, do consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video, sharing it with your friends and family, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye bye.